Where's justice? The devil could soon walk among us. The evil stepmother who beat little Randy Dooley to death could soon be free. Marcia Dooley and her husband Tony were convicted in 2002 of second-degree murder for the killing of his 7-year-old son Randal, and both were sentenced to life in prison. He could apply for parole after 18 years, he after 13. How quickly time flies for the guilty. Denied parole when she first applied in 2020, he was granted day parole to a halfway house 2 years later. That freedom has been slowly increased in 6-month increments. The latest decision not only extends her release to 5 days in the community and only 2 in a halfway house. The panel has also ordered full parole hearing that will take note of her Black social history or BSH factors. You report you feel police were racist and that you were disadvantaged because you were Black and poor, the panel wrote. At this juncture, your risk to the public and any mitigation of risk is the focus of release, with consideration of your BSH. Now 54, Marcia Dooley's plan is to live with a female ex-con friend she met while in prison. He's believed to live in Barrie, and visit her elderly father who lives in Toronto. She has so much of her life ahead, while the child she murdered had his stolen away. This may be the worst case of child abuse in Canadian panel history, Judge Eugene Iwashuk had said. If you like these videos and podcasts, please consider subscribing to Ontario Cold Cases, the podcast. Randy and his big brother Tego arrived from Jamaica in November 1997, excited to be reunited with their father they barely knew and his new wife, and to start the bright future they had been promised when they left their Aunt Midgie's home. Less than a year later, after months of neglect and vicious beatings, mostly at the hands of his stepmother, Randy was dead. He stood just 3 feet 10 inches tall and weighed 41 pounds. His emaciated body covered with hundreds of bruises, cuts, and welts. Only his scalp, the palms of his hands, and soles of his feet had been spared. When he vomited from her beatings, his stepmom forced him to eat it. A tooth was found in his stomach. His ribs and elbow had been broken. His liver lacerated, a vertebrae fractured. The poor child suffered 4 separate injuries to his brain, the last of which ultimately killed him on September 25th, 1998. 8-year-old Tego testified that Randy fell on his way up to the top bunk after another beating from their stepmom. Marcia dumped the unconscious boy in a bathtub of ice-cold water to revive him, then left him alone on the advice of her husband. Tego pulled him out, dressed him in dry pajamas, and tucked him into his bed. He then laid down beside him and fell asleep. In the morning, his little brother was dead. In its latest decision following an in-office review, the board said it was impressed with Dooley's progress in day parole, found a full-time job, and a supportive pro-social network. In her most recent correctional plan, she is assessed as making substantial gains in all areas and high in accountability, motivation, and reintegration potential. Her most recent psychological risk assessment, dated August 19th, 2022, indicates she's at a low risk for general and violent recidivism. Still, conditions on her day parole continue to include that she isn't allowed to be alone with children under 16 and must report all relationships. She's not to have any contact with her co-accused, who she's since divorced, or any of Randy's family, and she's not traveled to Toronto without permission. There's no date yet for her upcoming hearing for full parole. Where's my brother's justice? My justice, my family, Tego wrote on Facebook when Dooley first applied for a release 4 years ago. Surely the worst case of child abuse in Canadian history can't end like that. This lady is going to walk the streets like nothing happened. Certainly sounds like that's exactly what is going to happen. Thank you for listening. Please consider subscribing to Ontario Cold Cases, the podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.